Probably you know that we have this meeting with BRICS nations that's very strong, and now they are trying to include more countries like Saudi Arabia, Argentina, Ethiopia, among others. So the BRICS nations, five major emerging fast-growing economies, also developing industrialized countries, try to solve the poverty and also considering the strong middle class growing fast and also some influence in the global affairs. In our case, you come from Brazil. Brazil is in South America. It's very important to say that when I talk about Brazil as a researcher, also I try to create a network with colleagues in South America, like Argentina, Colombia, Uruguay. We have some leadership in South America. It's only one country speaking Portuguese, only Brazil. All those countries, they speak Spanish. So sometimes it's a barrier because it's not the same Portuguese and Spanish. So you try to collaborate with colleagues and also trying to mix, we call portuñol, it's Portuguese and Spanish, in order to understand what they are producing as well. My university is the largest university in South America, actually in Latin America. I know it sounds like, oh, but it is because of these figures. We are almost 100,000 students studying for free, no tuition fees at all, even for international students. If someone from here, from India, goes to Brazil, of course we have an admission test, you can study for free in the university, and who pays the bill? The state government, they pay the bill. So we have, some figures here, and also I think it's very important to highlight that our university now is in this position in the world. 85 is the first in Latin America and the Caribbean. So I'm talking about the University of São Paulo. And I'm saying that because I'm going to show you some figures and some information about research center we have there in collaboration with another university I'll show you here. You're talking about an interdisciplinary approach in physical education and sports, leisure, or if you prefer leisure and wellness and tourism. So we have all together in an interdisciplinary approach. And our group is the interdisciplinary group of leisure studies. So we bring professors, PhD students, master students, to collaborate in some studies about leisure, thinking leisure in a broad concept and bringing tourism and physical education and sports as well. So you're being the academic stage to develop several investigations at undergrad and graduate level. And in graduate level for us, especially in physical activity and tourism. So I'm a member of both programs in Brazil, masters and PhD students. We call this network Rede CEDES. Rede stands for networking, or means networking. So we have CEDES, is the Center for Development of Sports in Brazil. And we have now USP, as you can see, my university, with Federal University of São Paulo. So we have Nara, Professor Nara, please, thank you. Professor Nara is from the UFSP, and we're working together to establish this center. When I say working together, we have to attract some money, some funding, and we have to be selected by the Minister of Sports, the Brazilian government, to become the Center of Excellence, or the Center for Development in Sports in Brazil. So this Research Development Center in Sports in leisure policies in the state of São Paulo is a partnership between my university and the Federal University of São Paulo. And the objective is the public policies on sports and leisure and the repercussions in the context of sports mega events. Why sports mega events? We had to select some subjects. We discussed a lot, Nara and myself with our group, and then we decided to bring the mega events, sports mega events we had in South America, especially Brazil. I'm talking about the FIFA World Cup and the Rio Olympic Games. So we decided to discuss the legacies from these sports mega events. But I just want to show you here our team. We are talking about the leaders. So Professor Nara, she was leading the work at Unifesp, the Federal University, and I'm leading the work in my university, the state one. And we have several students, PhD students, master students linked with this work as well. They are receiving scholarships every month to help us to develop this Center of Excellence. So we have this partnership in promotion of physical activity, exercise, and health science, as I said, including 2 universities, the main universities in the state of São Paulo. We decide to study events in a global scale, such as the Olympic and Paralympics, because we consider they can stimulate a proper governance and a policy for health, physical activity, and leisure programs. So as you can see here, Brazil. Let's talk about Brazil. Of course, you highlight Brazil all the time here, but you can consider here, you can see many events happening in just 10 years. I'm talking about 10 years. From 2007, 2016, and also the America's Cup. So I have here Rio 2007 was the Pan-American Games, or the games that we have in Latin America, the Military World Games in 2011, the FIFA Confederations Cup 2013, the FIFA World Cup in 2014, Rio Olympic Games, Olympic and Paralympic Games 2016, and America's Cup. Here is soccer as well in 2019. And so as you can see, many events for us from the university is perfect, Professor, because we can discuss a lot. We can go to the field and collect data and bring this data to the university and discuss a lot and publish papers. So it's perfect for us. So let's talk about the other BRICS. I just select some events here. Of course, we have Brazil and all these events, but also other countries in BRICS. Russia, Sochi, 2014, and also the FIFA World Cup in 2018. I'm just highlighting some events. In India, you had here the Commonwealth Games in 2010. So I consider a sporting mega event as well. It was a big one. In China, we had the Olympic Games in 2008, and also in 2022, we had Winter Games. So we have the Summer Games and the Winter Games in China. In South Africa, we had the FIFA World Cup in 2010. So it's a coincidence. All these events happening in BRICS countries is not a coincidence. So they are trying to link these, let's say, these countries in developing, the countries, emerging countries, and trying to link with the sports mega events and promising some legacies, some impacts for the cities that host these events. Let's see. So just talking about Brazil now, especially Brazil, as I told you, we had these events in the country, and Brazil is well known with some iconic images. I don't know if you heard about this place, probably yes, but Rio de Janeiro in Brazil is very famous, the Corcovado, so the tourism is growing fast in Brazil, and when they receive the news, you're going to have the Olympic Games in this city. You can imagine it for the tourism people. They said, oh, perfect, because you can attract more international guests here in the country. So Corcovado, Christ the Redeemer, is one of the new 7 wonders of the world. It's iconic, it's a beautiful place. And also our carnival was last week. No, actually 2 weeks ago. I was in the carnival, of course, as a Brazilian. And our first semester starts after the carnival. Everything in Brazil starts after the carnival because it's a big party, and we love party and we love carnival as well. So it's a big one. But talking about iconic images, talking about the carnival, we can remember Brazil. But when here from Brazil, they said, oh, you play soccer. No, I don't play soccer. But anyway, they remember soccer all the time. Yeah, so it's not a coincidence. Brazil is considered the country of soccer. Of course, we have Argentina. Anyway, we have South America. Soccer is very important for us. And Brazil is considered the land of soccer shoes. And why is that? Because Brazil is only one have won 5 times the World Cup. Only Brazil. And Brazil is the only team to have played in every tournament since the beginning, just Brazil. So Brazil is considered linked, let's say, with football or soccer, if you prefer. And of course, you know some images here, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, and all this stuff. Brazil selected 12 host cities for the FIFA World Cup. This is very important for us, for me and Nara and the group, because we had São Paulo as one of the host cities, so we have only, just like 15 minutes from our university, we had a beautiful stadium to collect some data. And Rio Olympic Games as well, in 2016, Olympics and Paralympics. It's just 1 hour flying from São Paulo to Rio. During the Olympic Games, I had a chance to attend the whole event and stay in Rio for at least 1 month, just collecting data with my students too. What we noticed, huge impact in several sectors, including sports and wellness, leisure industry, tourism, hotel, hospitality, transport and urban mobility, airports, ports, stadiums, environment, information technology, infrastructures and services. So this is very important for us because we have this information and we bring this information to the university. You analyze what kind of impact when you talk about leisure industry, for instance. And again, was perfect for us in terms of collecting data. Here we have some students, and undergrad students, and we provide scholarships to go to the field and to chat with people there and to collect some data, investigate the procedures of people attending the event. So it was very nice for the students too. Here are some images, some stadiums that were built using public money from Brazilian government, from Brazilian people actually, building a new one to bring new atmosphere for this new event. Here we have the Olympic Park. The event was in 2016. We are now in 2024. When you come back to this place, now it's serving as a space for Rock in Rio. Rock in Rio is a music festival, a big one, but unfortunately it's not in the same condition. Lack of maintenance for this place. So it was beautiful in 2016. I can tell it's not beautiful anymore. So lack of money to keep this place in the same shape. They use some space. This is some Sambódromo. It's the place I just showed you for the carnival, and during the Olympic Games was the place for the marathon. So they decided to use some space as well. I consider it very important because they can build space, not building new ones. Just some information I think is important too. Brazil during the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup, received people from more than 200 countries. So it was impressive for us. And this is very important too. When we discussed about, you are in Brazil now, have you enjoyed Brazil very much? You consider to come back to Brazil. More than 80% said, I like Brazil very much, and more than 90% said, I will be back to Brazil. So we create a nice or important impression for these people there. But at the same time, we have poverty. We have a lot of inequality in Brazil. I'm sure you have a lot of inequality here in India as well. So how can you explain using public money to put in these sports mega events? The ticket was very expensive, and we have this condition. So we had people demonstrating all the time, before the FIFA World Cup, before the Rio Olympic Games. People going to the streets and demonstrating their satisfaction about this event, claiming money for the hospitals, claiming money for schools, not for the sports mega events. I'm aware that it's happening in Paris now. It's happening all the time. Probably you happen, Professor Copetti, you happen in the United States as well. Probably people complaining and demonstrating their dissatisfaction. So bringing this network, Rede CDS, with Professor Nara and the Federal University as well, we organized during the Olympic Games some round tables to discuss the impacts. Here we have an example, Professor Nara and myself, bringing other colleagues from different universities to discuss this matter. Also, we organized the first BRICS in Brazil. The first event was in Santos in 2017. This event was a result of this network. We have the network, so we create opportunity to bring the event in Santos, Brazil. Probably you remember some of the guys, they are here, and we visit Santos, you remember this place too. It was very hard to keep people inside the auditorium because we had this beautiful beach. Where are the people? They are in the beach, so we have to bring people from the beach to the auditorium, just like you are now, to keep people focused on the BRICS event. And also, we are just collecting some data in São Paulo. São Paulo is the largest city in Brazil, and it's predicted to be the wealthiest city, the fifth wealthiest city by next year. So it's a challenge for us because to be a wealthy city is to meet some requirements like health and quality of life, well-being. So it's a big challenge for São Paulo. Here we have Professor Copetti just mentioned this morning. He was impressed in Santos about people just cycling and some places that they use for cycling that were projected for cycling, but in this case, Professor, it's not projected for this situation. They just close some big avenues in São Paulo, just Paulista Avenue, every Sunday to bring people to celebrate leisure and to cycling and to play soccer, music, and all this stuff. Not sure, Professor, we have here in India, but it's a very nice initiative to have on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. You close a big avenue and you can bring people and not cars at all, and cycling and playing soccer and all this stuff. And you have a project called the Street of Leisure. The Street of Leisure, we have some poor communities, surrounding communities, they apply this condition, and the local municipality, they provide some equipment for them to close every Sunday the streets. So I mean here, they are not going to iconic places in São Paulo. No, they stay in their own place and they close their own streets and having leisure, sports, and some activities. And also in my university, our network was responsible to collect.
We have only 5 minutes.
Okay, to collect some data here as well. So we have a big university and some activities too. Leisure in Brazil is protected by law. It's in our constitution. I know it sounds strange, but people have the right to have leisure. So that was very important for us in this article we published, Nara and myself with a group, when we have this research called the Brazilian's Leisure. We had a research in the whole country. More than 2,000 people were interviewed, and we asked these people about what they actually do in the leisure time, what they like to do with the leisure time, but they are unable to do, especially because of money, and what are the obstacles preventing them to do. So we discover, of course, lack of time, lack of money, and all this stuff, but I think this is very important to say. Almost 8% of Brazilians, they associate the word leisure with fun. I'm not you are surprised about that, but leisure and fun. They consider it as leisure for them is fun. Only 20% is rest. They consider, I want to be at home and rest, sleep. And some of them consider it a development, a moment for development, social development, personal development. It is very important to say that we have leisure in our constitution, but also in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 24, Article 27, we have a specific reference for leisure too. So leisure is protected by law, protected by declaration, and when we study leisure, this is very important. Here we are talking about Sustainable Development Goals. Professor Kana just highlight how important the SDGs. In our case, you are focusing on this one, the third one, good health and well-being. So our networking is dealing with especially this one. And we organized this conference in São Paulo before the COVID, was the last one, and we had Professor Coperti and other colleagues were there. We had this conference in 2020, was in São Paulo, just discussing this well-being and quality of life, how important to live with this discussion with objective number 3. I'm just concluding here, Professor. The last 3 slides, the final consideration. The promise was promoting civil society and alleviating poverty, reducing violence and crime, creating economic opportunity, promoting public health. That was the promise organizing sports mega events in Brazil. But we found that we had the lack of active participation from civil society, the challenge of balancing the forces of the public, private, and third sectors, and also inconsistencies in planning and discourse regarding the legacies of sports mega events, the limited research on the topic based on the complex real-world data, the difficulties in effectively evaluating legacies and the impacts using official data, and ensuring partiality, free from conflicts of interest. Because if we have the organizers, they are promoting, we create a lot of impact. But when you collect data and discuss it in the university, you found out that it's not true. We had some big white elephants, big stadiums, they're not used. It's very hard to keep this stadium, so this is the next one. As a part of legacy, sports mega events state a unique opportunity in Brazil to promote public health and improve the awareness of the benefits of physical activity, sports, leisure, and tourism. So, thank you very much for attention. Thank you very much, Chairperson. I hope I just conclude my time. Thank you.
Dear Professor Ricardo from Brazil, it was a really heart-touching presentation by you, sir. You have very clearly demonstrated and correlated every aspect, starting from 5 growing major economies, BRICS countries, and you have clearly demonstrated that how public universities are being created in Brazil and where there is no tuition fees. I think this is a point to be noted, that there will be no tuition fees, and in order to eradicate the illiteracy. And you have also stated, sir, that you have interdisciplinary groups which are working in a public-private partnership, and moreover you have clearly demonstrated that sports and leisure policies which are being implemented in your university, and you are doing research there, collecting data and showing it to the university. Brazil, a land of soccer shoes, you have clearly demonstrated, but on the other hand, you have shown the poorest of the poor sections also, the people which are deprived of those facilities which are being created by the government. It was a really wonderful presentation. I would like to welcome 1 or 2 questions from audience, if anybody wants to.
If anybody wants to ask something. Any questions for sir?
No.
No?
Thank you, sir. It's an honor to be here along with you, sir, and really enjoyed your energetic and young presentation. I have really enjoyed it, and wish you all the best, sir. Thank you, and thanks to the audience who have listened very patiently. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much. That was a very nice presentation. I would like to ask Dr. Jovinder to please felicitate Dr. Ricardo. I'd also like to request Dr. Usha Batra, our Professor of Practice from the Department of Nutrition and Dietetics, to please come up on the stage and to felicitate Dr. Joginder Singh Sudan. Please have a round of applause for sir. Thank you.